Welcome back. The Knowledge House offers tech training through free courses in coding, software development, data science, design, and more. Headquartered in the Bronx, the Knowledge House is on a mission to ensure that young workers are employed through COVID-19 and beyond. Joining us now to discuss is Jerelyn Rodriguez. She is the co-founder and CEO of the Knowledge House. Welcome, Jerelyn. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me today.
You're no stranger to the show. You've been on Open BXRx before with other hosts like Hemick. But we want to give our viewers an introduction just in case they're tuning in today and they're not sure about your mission. Can you just tell us a little bit about the Knowledge House?
Absolutely. So the Knowledge House is a nonprofit based in the South Bronx, and we provide technology education programs to youth and young adults. Our mission is to empower and sustain a talent pipeline of technologists coming from low-income communities.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jerelyn. And let's discuss the Bronx. You're a Bronx native, born and raised, right?
Yep.
So how did you get into this field of tech, and why is it important for you to do this type of work here personally in the Bronx?
Yeah. So as we've all experienced being from the Bronx, I had to hear so many stories about the Bronx having a bad reputation, and so as I was heading off to college and into my first career job, I was always interested in figuring out how I can give back to the Bronx. I come from an education background. And so after college, I worked for 6 years in education before I started the Knowledge House. And being in education was a little frustrating because at the time I felt like the education leaders were pushing like a college or bust myth. So college worked for me, but it didn't work for a lot of my neighbors and family members coming from the Bronx.
Right.
So alternative pathways just became interesting and it became urgent, right? We have to figure out how to increase economic mobility and provide access to everyone, not only a few. And so I know that we had to look at alternative workforce development solutions. And that's how my idea for the Knowledge House came about. 6 years ago, government agencies were really paying attention to the growing tech sector, right? The Department of Education launched Computer Science for All. The mayor's office launched the Tech Talent Pipeline initiative. But really early on, these initiatives were not reaching Bronx residents. So it was important for my co-founder and I to start something that's homegrown and that provides Bronxites with access to high-paying jobs and high technical skills, because these opportunities are the ones that lead to economic mobility and uplifting ourselves out of poverty.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing, Jerelyn. And one of the first things that I see when visiting the Knowledge House website is the quote on the unemployment rate in the Bronx. It's risen to 25%, affecting young people the most. This is what the quote says online, and it's true. How has the Knowledge House seek to diversify tech by helping young workers in the Bronx combat these high unemployment rates in our borough?
Yeah, so ever since the pandemic, the Bronx unemployment has risen, right? So 25% unemployment supposedly brings us back to the Great Depression era. And it's really important for us to pay attention to because young people are always impacted the worst. We provide code and design skills training to young people because we see that young people in the Bronx are innovative, they're creative, and so they should be empowered to produce technology, not only consume it. Like young people spend all of their hours on social media playing video games. Why not empower them to create these video games, to design these social media apps? And so that's what we're trying to do. We think that code and design skills are growing even through the pandemic. A lot of our graduates since COVID, they've just been working remotely. They haven't lost their jobs. And so we're preparing young people for the future of work, right? And to survive through COVID, post the pandemic. And digital skills training is just more important than ever before.
Absolutely. And it's something that, the Knowledge House is inclusive when it comes to training programs, right? This is for everybody, for anyone, really, any young person that wants to learn coding. You don't have to have like a background in this at all, do you, Jerelyn?
So our programs are tuition free. They are available to any applicant that considers themselves low income. And for us, you have to have a household income of 50,000 or less.
And no prior experience in tech at all. Like you can come in bright-eyed and ready to learn everything from the Knowledge House, right?
So our job training programs start off with the foundations. So we take in beginners. There is no experience required at all.
Wonderful news. You hear that? If you're interested, folks, please reach out to the Knowledge House. You can go on their website at theknowledgehouse.org, follow them on social media at the Knowledge House, and, inquire about any of these programs that we're about to talk about now. Before we continue though, Jerelyn, let's talk about the ever-increasing tech demand. You brought it up in the beginning, and the impact of tech education in low-income Black and Brown communities, especially during this pandemic. Has Knowledge House seen an increase in interest in the programs that you offer ever since the start of the pandemic?
Yeah, so at the start of the pandemic, we saw our applications double, and we just understood, okay, it's not in our best interest to slow down because of the pandemic. There's more need. We just need to build capacity and be of service to our community members. And so not only did we see more applicants to our job training programs, but we saw our neighbors, other community-based organizations, reach out to us to learn best practices when it comes to virtual learning. We're grateful that our staff and our students, since they're tech savvy, we had an easier time transitioning from in-person to completely virtual. But now we can offer best practices to other people in need, and we can serve more job seekers. And not only did we see this interest from the community, but obviously with the murder of George Floyd this summer, a bunch of companies also got interested in investing in racial equity work. And so we've now had more employers reach out to us because they're interested in hiring interns. We've reached out to corporations that want their employees to do more volunteering, and so we are getting an increase of interest and support from a variety of stakeholders, which is great.
Tech is where it's at. Can you tell us about your Innovations Fellowship and the different tracks that participants can pursue when going through this program?
So this year, we are running two programs. We have a high school program called the Kareem Carbuch Coding Fellowship. And those high school students learn graphic design, web design, and front-end coding. And then for adult job seekers, we have the Innovation Fellowship. The Innovation Fellowship offers two tracks. So job seekers can specialize in full stack JavaScript or data science learning Python. Next year, we will be adding a cybersecurity track and a usability testing track. So we'll have 4 training options for adults.
Can people apply for these programs starting now for next year?
Yeah. So our application is live on our website. You can go ahead and fill it out. For now, you will be waitlisted. And then once we start our admissions process in February of next year, you'll be reached out to proceed with interviews, assessments, etc.
Got you. Thank you, Jerelyn. And for the high schoolers, Kareem Carbuch, aka French Montana. So that makes the program even cooler. French Montana's from the Bronx, and he's repping on here, and that's who the program is named after. Really cool. What types of jobs can participants potentially land upon graduation, Jerelyn? What have you seen come up after people receive the certifications?
Yeah. So what's exciting about tech roles is that these jobs are in every sector. And you can pursue multiple tech occupations, right? You don't have to be a mathematician, engineer expert to go into tech. So a lot of our graduates land jobs at startups that are small, and then Fortune 100 companies that are massive. And they are securing roles as front-end engineers, computer programmers, software developers, software engineers, product managers. We also have students that go into sales and business analyst roles at tech companies. So I think the sky is limitless. These opportunities are out there for anyone to pursue, as long as you have the passion, resiliency, and grit to learn.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerelyn. Before we go, can you just provide more information on how folks can apply again? And also, how can people support the Knowledge House and stay in touch with you?
Yeah, so if you go to our website, www.theknowledgehouse.org, you can apply by going to the program section. learning about the Innovation Fellowship and clicking the apply button. And anyone can donate to the organization or sign up to volunteer. There's a get involved section if you want to learn how you can support. And if you click on our donate button, it will take you straight to the donation link where we will be accepting donations.
Thank you again, Jerelyn, for your time today. Jerelyn Rodriguez is the co-founder and CEO of the Knowledge House, and she's also a Bronxite, so representing out here and, you know, putting on for the borough. Thank you so much for all the work you're doing.
Thank you all for having me again. Always love BronxNet.
Yes, you're always welcome here. Folks, again, to view the programs at the Knowledge House, qualifications, and more information, you can visit theknowledgehouse.org. You can also follow them on social media at The Knowledge House on Instagram, The Knowledge HOU on Twitter, and The Knowledge House Fellowship on Facebook. We'll be right back.